Hello, you are watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. We are now in Times Square of New York City, United States. It's about 12 a.m. It's about 12 p.m. local times, and the temperature is -4 degrees Celsius outside. And as you can see, a massive snowstorm is blowing and rolling in the center of Manhattan, New York City. And this massive storm is also sweeping across the eastern part of the United States. And you can see the flying powder is everywhere. And the buildings in Manhattan are hidden by the flying snow. And it's really hard to open up your eyes in a gusting wind. You are watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. You are now watching a massive snowstorm sweeping in the eastern part of the United States, and we are now in Times Square of the New York City in the United States. The fast-moving winter storm, growing stronger by the hour, has grounded 3,000 flights and delayed rail travelers in the busy northeast corridor of the United States and closed schools in New York and other cities. And you can see the flying powder from our camera. And the tall buildings in center Manhattan are hidden by the flying snow. And it's really chilly outside. The temperature is -4 to 5 degrees Celsius outdoor. It's really hard to open up your eyes in the streets. And the chilly weather has caused a series of trouble for traffic and pedestrians. According to local officials, the fast-moving winter storm is growing stronger by the hour, and it has grounded 3,000 flights and has delayed rail travelers in the busy northeast corridor of the United States and closed schools in New York and other cities. And Manhattan could get as much as 9 inches, which is 23 centimeters of snow by late Thursday, said the U.S. National Weather Service. And we are now in Times Square in the center of Manhattan, New York City. And as we know, Times Square is a transportation hub and business center for Manhattan. But today, the severe weather has caused difficulties for traffic and pedestrians. And according to U.S. National Weather Service, New York could get as much as 9 inches, which is 23 centimeters of snow by late Thursday. And this severe weather is sweeping across the eastern part of the United States, not only in New York City, but also in a large area of the eastern coast of the United States. And local officials have ordered New York City schools closed Thursday as New Yorkers braced for the snowstorm, which is also called a bomb cyclone of snow and wind that threatens to accumulate up to 9 inches, which is 23 centimeters of powder. New York authorities have issued a very serious winter storm warning. The warning says heavy snow and blowing wind occurring. Plan on difficult travel conditions, including during the morning commute, and tree branches could fall as well. The snowfall rates of around 1 inch per hour are expected this morning into early afternoon, and additional snow accumulates of 4 to 6 inches are expected. You are watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. We are now in Times Square of New York City, United States. It's about 12 p.m. local time, and the temperature is minus 5 degrees Celsius outside. And as you can see, a massive snowstorm is blowing and roaring in the center of Manhattan, New York City. And this massive storm is also sweeping across the eastern part of the United States. And the severe weather has caused a lot of trouble for traffic and pedestrians. Local officials have ordered New York City schools closed Thursday as New Yorkers braced for the snowstorm, which is also called a bomb cyclone of snow and wind that threatens to accumulate up to 9 inches of powder. New York authorities have issued a very serious winter storm warning. The warning says heavy snow and blowing snow occurring, and plan on difficult travel conditions, including during the morning commute. And tree branches could fall as well. And snowfall rates of around 1 inch per hour are expected this morning into early afternoon. And you can see from our camera, the flying powder is everywhere, and skyscrapers in center Manhattan are all hidden by the flying snow. And it's really hard to open up your eyes in the chilly temperature. And the warning is that winds gusting as high as 50 miles per hour will cause areas of blowing and drifting snow. The local authorities suggest New Yorkers to keep an extra flashlight, food, and winter in your vehicle in case of an emergency. And now we'll interview some New Yorkers in this chilly weather. So hello.
Hey,
How do you feel about this severe weather?
Well, it's nothing that we're used to.
Yeah, we're from Australia, so it's pretty hot, pretty cold.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold. So it's summer in Australia, but now it's very chilly in New York.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Yeah, it's too cold.
It's the wind. The snow's alright. It's the wind that really kills you.
So what's your plan for today?
To get some food.
Yeah, get some food and then stay indoors for as long
probably
as we
go
can.
back into our hotel.
Okay.
Maybe do a bit of shopping.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Thank you. So we can see, and pedestrians, they really get trouble in this chilly weather, and this severe weather is sweeping across the whole eastern part of the United States, not only in New York City, but in the whole eastern coast of the United States. And the temperature outdoor is minus 5 degrees Celsius. You can see the flying snow everywhere, and the skyscrapers are all hidden by the flying powder. And according to local officials, the snow in Manhattan will be expected to accumulate up to 9 inches, which is 23 centimeters today. Now we can see the snow is everywhere in the gusting wind. You're watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. We are now in Times Square of New York City, United States. A severe winter storm is hitting eastern North America, extending a cold snap that has already claimed 17 lives. The severe snowstorm is sweeping across the eastern part of the United States, and 17 cold-related deaths have been reported across the U.S. according to local media. We are now in Times Square, New York City, United States. So, hello.
Hi.
So you are a New Yorker?
I am Trish here, but I've been here a lot, but I'm just hanging out for a few days.
Okay, how do you feel about this severe weather?
Oh my god, I was here for Stella in March, and this is way crazier feeling than that.
So it's really hard to open up your eyes.
Oh yeah, I don't want to face that way at all.
So what's your plan for today?
We are gonna go try to get some food, stay out of the snow, and then hopefully catch a plane tonight if it doesn't get canceled or delayed.
Yeah.
But that's our goal. We have a plane tonight that's leaving back to Florida, where it's also snowing yesterday. But yeah, that's it. Just try to get warm, stay safe.
I wish you have a nice day. Severe snow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you can see pedestrians and traffic, they all got trouble in this severe snow. And the snowstorm is whipping across a large area in the United States. And the snowstorm is hitting eastern North America, extending a cold snap that has already claimed 70 lives. 17 cold-related deaths have been reported across the U.S. local media. And experts said a severe pressure drop has led to an explosive winter storm along the eastern United States and has already brought snow to Florida. The U.S. is currently on its 11th day of record-breaking frigid temperatures, which began around Christmas. But the new storm has led meteorologists to deploy a new term. It's called bomb cyclone. And the U.S. National Weather Service has warned that Arctic air mass will remain entrenched over the eastern two-thirds of the United States through the end of the week. And very cold temperatures and dangerously cold wind chills expected, the U.S. National Weather Service said. You are watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. We are now in Times Square, the center of Manhattan of New York City, United States. A massive snowstorm is blowing and roaring in the center of Manhattan. And this massive snowstorm and this severe weather is sweeping across the eastern part of the United States. And you can see the flying powder is everywhere. And traffic and pedestrians are all troubled by the severe weather. And a severe winter storm is hitting eastern North America, extending a cold snap that has already claimed 70 lives. Experts said a severe pressure drop has led an explosive winter storm along the eastern United States and has already brought snow to Florida. The U.S. is currently on its 11th day of record-breaking frigid temperatures, which began around Christmas. But the new storm has led meteorologists to deploy a new term. They called it bomb cyclone. And according to the U.S. National Weather Service, Manhattan could get as much as 9 inches, which is 23 centimeters of snow by late Thursday. And you can see the snow is accumulating on the streets. We are now in Times Square, the center of Manhattan, New York City, United States. And the fast-moving winter storm, which is growing stronger by the hour, has grounded over 3,000 flights and delayed rail travelers in the busy northeast corridor of the United States and closed schools in New York and other cities. New York could get as much as 9 inches of snow by late Thursday, said the U.S. National Weather Service. And local officials have ordered New York City schools closed Thursday as New Yorkers braced for the snowstorm, which is also called a bomb cyclone of snow and wind that threatens to accumulate up to 9 inches of snow powder. And it's really chilly outdoor. The temperature is about -5 degrees Celsius. It's freezing cold and it caused trouble for pedestrians and traffic. The New York City authorities have also issued a very serious winter storm warning. The warning says heavy snow and blowing snow occurring, and plan on difficult travel conditions, including during the morning commute, and tree branches could fall as well. The snowfall rates of around 1 inch per hour are expected this morning into early afternoon. And additional snow accumulates of 4 to 6 inches are expected. But we still have brave pedestrians to have some interview with us. So hello, are you New Yorkers?
No, we're from the UK.
We're from UK. So how do you feel about this weather?
It's colder than home.
So can you compare it to the weather in UK?
Yeah, it's raining in the UK.
But not as cold as in New York?
No. This is extreme for us.
So what's your plan today?
We're going back to the airport if our flight's not cancelled. So this is our last day, so we're braving the snow.
So wish you have a nice day.
Thank you very
in New
much.
York.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. We are now in Times Square, the center of Manhattan in New York City. And as you know, Times Square is a famous tourist attraction for New York City. But today, tourists and pedestrians, they really get trouble from the severe cold weather, which sweeping across the whole area of the eastern part of the United States. And according to local officials, the severe winter storm is hitting eastern North America and extending a cold snap that has already claimed 70 lives. And as we know, this severe snowstorm is sweeping across the whole part of the United States in the eastern coast. And our colleagues in Washington, D.C. will give you some latest information of the situation in D.C., which is also under severe cold weather.
Here in the nation's capital, we're far enough inland that we've been spared the worst of this winter storm. But we are experiencing sub-zero temperatures and wind speeds of almost 50 miles per hour. However, just to the south in the state of Virginia, tens of thousands of homes were left without power this morning, and there have been major disruptions to traffic on Interstate 95, which is the major highway that connects the entire East Coast. There were reports from South Carolina that some people were waiting in traffic for almost 8 hours trying to get home from the holidays. So the storm is really messing things up right around the holiday season, and the further south you go, kind of the more difficult the snow situation is. And the reason that is in the south, cities there aren't as used to getting snow, so they often don't have the equipment or are less experienced with handling all that snow. So when you get to states like South Carolina that don't see much snow, you get all this accumulation, and it really shuts things down. And even here in DC, where we only have a little bit of snow, we are still experiencing major delays for commuters, and actually 300 schools in the area were closed this morning due to icy conditions and traffic delays. But other places that are affected most severely by the storm in the south, we're seeing more of these problems. And even in the southernmost state of Florida, the capital city of Florida State, Tallahassee, saw its first snow in 30 years. The storm is being labeled a bomb cyclone, and what that actually means is when very warm air hits very hot, cold air, there's a serious drop in barometric pressure, which then creates conditions that are actually similar to a hurricane just in the winter, and that's exactly what that is. And so you'll often hear meteorologists describing storms like this one as winter hurricanes, because it's the same conditions just with snow. So as this storm moves up the coast, You're going to see a lot more serious impact in cities like New York and Boston as they brace for the arrival of this storm. But for now, here in DC, we're doing okay. We're a little bit cold, but from the south, actually 3,000 flights originating from those areas were canceled. So there have been impacts all around the country as airlines struggle to deal with the impact of those cancellations. And as things move forward, hopefully they'll be able to get things taken care of in the south. I know that there are groups of snowplows moving from the northern states to help out down south, so hopefully things will be cleared up pretty soon. But for now, the whole transportation system is certainly a bit of a mess because of this storm.
Hello, you are watching a live report from Xinhua News Agency. We are now in Times Square, New York City. And as you can see, a massive snowstorm is blowing and rolling in the center of Manhattan. And you can see the snowstorm sweeping in New York and Washington, D.C. from our live report. And this severe cold winter storm is sweeping across the whole area of the eastern part of the United States and has claimed 17 lives. So follow the latest information from Xinhua on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. See you next time.